Here's something else you can do with CSS styles that's worth knowing. As you recall, in the absolute positioning example, the div element containing image 1 was displayed first, followed by the div element containing image 2, followed by the div element containing image 3. So you end up with this kind of stacking. Image 1 first, image 2 second, image 3 third, just as it was in the document itself. However, you can actually affect the stacking yourself, and that might become an issue if you have multiple pop-ups going on at the same time in an Ajax-enabled window. So, for example, say that you wanted image 2 to be on top of the other two. So image 2 not to be under image 3, but to be on top of image 3. And how would that work? You could do that using a style property called z-index, and you see the results here where image 2 appears on top of image 3, even though the actual order in the document is the same, image 1, image 2, image 3. But using z-index, the z-index property, you can set the stacking order of the elements in your web page. And that's important to know in case you ever end up in a situation where you have multiple pop-ups and you want some pop-ups to be on top of others. So how do you use z-index? It's actually very simple. Here's the div element containing image 1 and just sets the image 1 position in absolute terms. Be left 50, top 60, as you see here. And then here is the div element containing image 2. This is where the good stuff happens. This is where you can use z-index to set the stacking order. As you see, it's position absolute. Left is 200, top is 90, and z-index, the z-index property, is set to 200. Now, the z-index property is just there for the stacking order, and it sets the order in which items are stacked on top of each other. And the higher z-index property value means that a element will be on top of other elements. So the higher the z-index property, the higher it is in the stacking order. The element is in the stacking order. So a z-index of 200 is very high, which means that this div element with image 2 and the caption image 2 will appear on top of these other ones, these other images, these other div elements. As you see here, there's not even a z-index specified here, so it's a very low z-index by default on the order of 1 or 2. And here you have z-index 200. That will make it stand out on top of all the other div elements in the page because the z-index of 200 is very high, and the higher you are in the stacking order, the higher you are in the presentation layers on the web page. So you can see the result here where you have the image 2 div is higher than image 1 or image 3. That's because of the z-index property, as you see here. So very nice and very good to know about, especially in case you have multiple pop-ups and you want to layer them correctly. And in this case, you can use the z-index property to set the stacking order appropriately, and that's a very powerful style property to know about.